Nam yo ho ning ge ko 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 nam yo ho ning ge.
Hi, I'm Margaret, and this is the website where we take Buddhist philosophy and practice and apply it to the problems and concerns of everyday life. So this time, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be discussing are you getting the results you want from your chanting? If you are getting the results you want, then you're in alignment with the spiritual side of your nature, the realm of possibility, where life is in the process of becoming and growing. Jose Toda, second SGI president, says that that spiritual side of our nature, our infinite side, our Buddha nature, is the life energy itself. And when you think about it, life looks out from our eyes, and we can see its connection to growth in every blade of grass and every tree, how a baby animal or human strives to grow and develop. We're so close to it that we are it. We don't see it. It powers our bodies. We can't even breathe on our own. It's beneficent and is always on the side of growth. It is us. We are one with it, as an individual wave is one with the ocean. When we're aligned with our spiritual side, we have access to knowledge that we don't know already. Unseen help, unseen connections to move us toward our goals. We can access our intuitive voice. Life becomes magical. But if we're not getting the results we want, there's a part of us that's more in agreement with the struggle than with the freedom. This happens with our human side, our finite side, which is born and dies. We rely more on the conditions and circumstances we see around us, the conditioned side of our nature, the side that's been trained into us by our culture, which has taught us how things work in the world. This side only believes really in what it can see and works only according to the intellect. We have longings that things can be different, and we set goals. But often there's a part of us that's really quite resistant to growth and change. So when I say resistant, what does that look like? Resistance insists the conditions remain the same. For example, we say, I'm this way because I've always been this way. We defend the status quo tooth and nail. And when we find ourselves saying this, there's something in us that's strongly resisting change and unwilling to be different. And of course, in order to achieve goals, we're going to have to change and be different. Or resistance will say, well, it just can't be that way because all my life I've heard from my parents, teachers, friends, that this is the way the world works. This is the way it is. With this kind of resistance, you might hear comments like, oh, well, that's just not realistic. That's just not possible. Look at your bank account. Resistance appears when we step out of our comfort zone, our habitual beliefs, ways of thinking and doing things that are familiar and well worn, like an old, comfortable pair of shoes. Our comfort zone keeps us thinking what we've always thought, doing what we've always done. It may not always be what we like, but it is familiar. There's a gravitational pull to our comfort zone, which is really quite powerful. We may set a goal, but the discomfort of stepping out of what is familiar pulls us back to our comfort zone. You don't think so? How many times have you given up on a goal? I'll bet it's a few, just like for everybody. Resistance points to our life circumstances. It says that things can't be different because my life circumstances don't allow it. I can't do it because. The becauses are the conditions we've set up which prevent us from moving forward. According to the law of cause and effect, our life circumstances are the result of what you've thought and done in the past. For results to be different, we're going to have to think and act differently. As Daisaku Ikeda says, everything depends on what's in our hearts. Heartfelt prayers will definitely be answered. If we decide something is impossible, then consistent with our thinking so, even possible things will become impossible. That's Faith into Action, page 10. If you want to know your past causes, look at the present. If you want to know your future, look at the causes you're making in the present. As long as we're resistant, defending the status quo, we've set up a wall against change, even though we may think we want it. Our results never lie. When we've set up that wall, then we've turned away from the spiritual side of our nature. We've stopped listening to our intuition, those flashes of insight and knowing that come out of nowhere. The side of us that can overcome any obstacle. The side we can't explain that never seems reasonable. We have that choice. That calm, quiet voice within is so quiet that it's really easy to ignore. The universe does not intrude upon us. When we don't develop our relationship with our spiritual side, then we only listen to the intellect, which can only know what is already known and which can only take us through those same well-trodden paths we've learned from day one. So, how can we overcome resistance? In order to connect with the spiritual side, we have to turn up our willingness and say, maybe things don't have to be this way, and be open to discovering something different. We have to be curious, be willing to let go of our defenses, and just relax, allowing ourselves to be open to new possibilities and new experiences. It's an exciting time, actually. If you think you're stuck in the same old rut, chant to be willing to break out of it. Willingness is really the key. You're also going to need a solid support system, a group of people who will pick you up when you get discouraged or waver and remind you, you can do this. This group can also chant for you to overcome any hump. Groups such as these have proved to be quite effective in helping someone break loose of constricting circumstances, or to overcome that final challenge to get over a problem. So in summary, we've discussed that if we aren't getting the results we want, we're dealing with resistance to change. We see it when we insist that our lives remain the same. I'm this way because. Or resistance shows up as reliance on what we've been taught since day one about how the world works. Or it shows up in our comfort zone, our beliefs and habits of thinking and doing that are so familiar and comfortable and pull us back. Resistance says, my life circumstances won't allow change. And then we discussed how to overcome that resistance. Turn up your willingness and curiosity and relax. Chant for willingness to be open to change. And then find a good, solid support system. So I have some other videos that you might be interested in. The first one, do you let circumstances control what you do? Are you chanting but feel you aren't receiving answers from the universe? Did you know that your life is your curriculum? So happy to be with you all again today. Please keep your comments coming. I'm always fascinated by your suggestions and your points of views on things. And I'll see you again first Thursday of next month.